In this tutorial, we will be demonstrating rule analyzers and how to use them with the VDI Toolkit. So first, let's go over the types of the rule analyzers. So we have Session Rules Analyzer, Session State Rules Analyzer, Qualifiers Analyzer, and Rule Items Analyzer. So let's talk about the Session Rules Analyzer. So the Session Rules Analyzer is used to analyze session rules. It helps in identifying session rules that do not have any qualifiers assigned and are not a global rule. It also identifies session rules that do not have any rule items assigned. And this can be useful in finding stale rules that are floating out there so you can delete them. Next, we have the Session State Rules Analyzer, which is basically the same thing as the Session Rules Analyzer, except it applies to session state rules. And once again, it can help you in finding stale rules so you can delete those. The Qualifiers Analyzer is used to analyze all of the different qualifier types within the VDI Toolkit, and it shows qualifiers that are not linked to a rule. And this can be especially useful if trying to clean up rule qualifiers, especially like custom rule qualifiers or things like that, so they're not just floating out there and people don't know what they're used for or associated with. The Rule Items Analyzer is used to find rule items that are not linked to a rule. And this too can be helpful in trying to find stale rule items. So why do we need this? Well, over time, if care wasn't taken, things could get sloppy and confusing within the VDI Toolkit. Using the Rule Analyzers help you to find stale rules, rule items, and qualifiers so you can clean them up or delete them. Up next, we will demonstrate how the rule analyzers work using the VDI Toolkit. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And what we'll want to do is first go ahead and open up the VDI Toolkit. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I have it running on a virtual desktop, and I'll go ahead and open it. All right, once open, I'm going to go ahead and expand it. And we'll want to navigate to Rules and Rule Analyzers. And then we'll see our options here with the session rules, session state rules, qualifiers, and rule items. We'll go ahead and navigate to session rules first. And as we can see here, it is showing us session rules without qualifiers and session rules without rule items. So basically, these are rules that are worthless. They're not doing anything, so it's pointless for them to even exist or be there. You know, and rules like this could possibly add to overhead in the processing of the rules, so it's better to just go ahead and delete these. And if you'll notice, you can actually delete them from here, and it'll prompt you just confirming. If you hit OK, it'll delete it. And also, too, you can actually edit these rules from here, and you can view the details of the rule here. And as you can see, it has no qualifiers and no configuration. So that makes it easy in identifying stale rules, ones that A, you either need to delete, or B, you need to re-edit and fix. Next, I'll navigate to session state rules. And you can see here it's the same thing, but it's for session state rules. And we have a test one there to show. Okay, up next, we'll go ahead and do the qualifiers. And with this, we pick our qualifier type first. So let's say I can go ahead and pick client, and then I can hit retrieve, and this will show me all clients that are not linked to a rule. And I can also click client group, hit retrieve, and we'll see all client groups that are not linked to a rule. And if it's a rule qualifier that you can delete that's not synchronized from something else, such as Active Directory or something like that, it will have the delete option and you can delete it. The thing to note here too, though, is that if a client, like in this instance, let's say an Active Directory user group or a client group or a virtual desktop group was assigned to a rule, any of those users or any of those virtual desktops or any of those clients within that group would not show up on this if you were doing the client. It will include those as well too, so you don't have to worry about that. So that sums the qualifiers up. Next, we'll go over the rule items. And with the rule items, you'll then pick which rule item type that you want to analyze. And so in this case, we'll just go ahead and I'll just pick app automation and hit retrieve. and we'll see that I have one right here that's out there and that is not linked to any rules. And so things like this, they can get convoluted as things change, and you can easily identify those things with the rule analyzers and delete them or edit them to fix them to make them relevant. So that pretty much sums up this tutorial. I hope you found it useful, and thank you.